with that, do you see? Because I'm in the camp, really, Max, of I see deflation happening first, and then an inflationary, hyperinflationary event because of all of the money printing that's going to come from this from central banks. What do you see coming first? Is it going to be a deflationary spiral, or do you see an inflationary, hyperinflationary event just coming out of what we have here? Because if you look at it, a lot of the evidence, and I sent an article to you from Zero Hedge that talked about, Deutsche Bank capitulating, and they're starting to charge negative interest rates for lower amount or accounts, deposit accounts of over 100,000. At first, it was just for like big accounts, corporate accounts, but now they're starting to hit people just above 100,000 new accounts. That is, that seems like a deflationary event, because in a deflationary situation or environment, I would take a negative interest rate on my money if I know all other asset classes are dropping by even more than that. What is your response to that?
Well, since the early 1970s, we've really only had deflation, because since the early 1970s, we've only had debt money. So all fiat money is debt. Mm-hmm. All fiat money is issued with an interest attached to it. And that interest has to be paid. And the way that interest on debt money is paid is by issuing more debt money. And that's deflation. So we've had it in the U.S. budget deficit is up well over $1 trillion. The debt is approaching $24 trillion. The debt to GDP of the globe is 300% to GDP. The amount of bad assets on the Japanese central bank relative to GDP is over 100%. The United States will soon have over 100% of bad assets on their Federal Reserve balance sheet relative to GDP. The Federal Reserve took in $8 trillion worth of bad debt so far this year. So they're going to match Japan. They're going to take in another 15 or $20 trillion of bad debt. That's all deflationary. And that all requires more issuance of more debt money. So it's a Ponzi scheme, right? So you can't taper a Ponzi scheme. The second that they stop issuing more debt money would be the end of the deflation, which would mean a economic, how would you describe it? Extinction event. The global economy would completely grind to an utter halt. And then from there, you have price gouging, which would be then called inflation. So the kind of inflation that's going to come after the deflation is price gouging. It won't be inflation in the sense of wages are going up. No, it's going to be more like a black market. A black market is inflationary. The black market for chickens in a post-apocalyptic world is going to be, prices are going to be high. That's not necessarily inflation, because it doesn't have anything to do with wages. It's just price gouging, monopolist pricing, oligopolization, mafia rule by mafia, fascism, these types of things. That's inflationary.
If you want to see more videos and interviews like this from influential people in tech, finance, and sports, subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the bell to be alerted. And go a step further and join the YouTube membership area for early releases of videos like this. I'm out of here. Ha!